Real Rider here. Welcome once again to Silverback Racing TV, where the battle for the Alpha continues. Today, we start off with some grudge matches that feature the top 10 vehicles from the Alpha list, and then multiple rounds of back-to-back tournament racing. Be sure to buckle your seatbelts and fasten your helmets. Get your beverage and snacks situated. It's racing day at Silverback Racing Dragway. Of course, our winner from last tournament, Grey Wizard of Golden Owl Racing, will be continuing the back-and-forth war against Boog of 4-6 Racing. If you were able to catch our latest tournament, you bore witness to vehicle after vehicle racing their hearts out for a chance to take the number 10 spot of the leaderboard of the top 10 Alphas. The result of that tournament had Pop of NJ Drive Racing coming out victorious against Shootout tournament winner Benny D of Legacy Diecast Racing. Pop was able to keep their spot in this top 10 leaderboard. But how much will this lineup change after today's exhilarating race? After the grudge matches, we will know the answer. Pop and Oliver James take their places on the launch and get ready to start this racing day off with the grudge matches. Will this tournament have crazy finishes and unexpected victors? I sure hope so. This 1964 Grand Prix in the right lane and Shelby Cobra 427 SC in the left lane are fully concentrated and ready to do battle. Both cars leaving the line fast and furious, and just like in the movies, they take a ride up on their side wheels, hood on hood, right here, on the slow motion replay. Pop is off to a good start from defending his spot in the shootout matches to now winning the first race of the night. While Oliver James has to be in a slump afterwards, they must get their confidence back in the next tournament to bring a victory their way. Now on to Ragtag Jim representing Silverback Racing versus Cupcake, representing Rust Belt Racing. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, you are about to witness an epic matchup. This is the battle of the Grand Furies. Will starting position have an influence on these equally challenged competitors? Look to the track for your answers. We knew it would be close, but this was quite literally a win by bumper on that one. Cupcake seems to have taken the victory, but of course we have our handy-dandy replay footage to confirm. It's as if a mirror were placed right down the center track, both vehicles not giving in one bit, and both finishing in what will for sure be one of the strongest races of the night so far. Now, on to the list races. This will be the battles between top 10 Alpha contenders in showdown after showdown. Starting off with Daddy G from G4 Diecast Racing in the left lane, who is actually battling to hold on to his number 6 spot on the list, versus the crazy Canuck from the A-Team Racing, who seeks to take that spot. This is the beginning of the tournament, so every vehicle present must put on their game face and be prepared for anything to happen. A clean race by these two contenders, but in the end, Daddy G picks up the win and keeps their number 6 spot on the top 10 list. Looking back at the replay, you can see both cars experiencing a few bumps to which they recovered very easily from, and starting off the list races with a high standard. Cupcake is back on track, just minutes after a victory. Now goes against Kit KM from Gen X Vintage Racing. This is a highly anticipated race from two accomplished drivers who have proven themselves time and time again on Silverback Racing Dragway. Cupcake, now in the right lane, prepares themselves while Kit KM, in the left lane, does the same. They sway, they trade paint, they almost take out the finish line, but in the end, it's Cupcake who takes the victory and continues his rise up the list. You can see the battle footage as Cupcake tries to throw off Kit KM, but is met with retaliation at an impressive level as Kit KM doesn't take the win, but makes an impressive counterattack, using the power of barrier trees. It's Nip in the left lane and Pop in the right lane, facing off against each other. Team Luop versus NJ Drive Racing. The 1974 Escort AS 1600 versus the 1964 Pontiac Grand Prix. Let's see what the third of the list races has in store for us today. These vehicles are dialed in today, but for this race, it's Pop who has it dialed it in ever so slightly more as they take the win on this one, but not without surviving a potentially disorienting bump. Pop showing us an impressive 3-race win streak so far. Can he make it 4 for 4 when Oliver James appears and challenges him to a duel? Jimmy John Hansen now takes on Kit Kayum. Jimmy John Hansen has been on a bit of a roll lately, moving up to that 5th spot. But will that roll continue after Kit Kayum tries to redeem themselves and hold his spot from losing earlier in the night? Let's find out. Trouble on the track for the Acura. While the split-window Corvette hits the finish line, Hansen must have turned his car up too much in anticipation of a tough opponent and wrecked out. Kit Kayum barely missed being caught in that wreck, which sent them the big win and redemption after losing against Cupcake. Study the footage and you can see a semi-wall ride, and then the moment Jimmy John Hansen went up and onto their roof, still giving the last effort to finish the race. A fighting spirit from both vehicles, just orientated differently. Back to the past, back to the past. It's Pop and Oliver James facing off against each other yet again. Oliver James having the lightest car here may play a factor here momentarily. Can the redemption emanating from the track rub off on Oliver James, or will Pop show that 4 is actually the magic number? The 8th spot on the Alpha list will soon be decided. Absolute carnage on the track. All was good until halfway down. Oliver James' strategy of trying to paint with Pop resulted in a finish on the head of Pop, also leading to a 4 for 4 streak. Pop might not be engulfed in flames, but they are on fire. Oliver James might need to make some modifications to their vehicle to come back victorious in the future. In fact, both of these vehicles have had a tough race, so a new air freshener may pick their spirits and motivations back up. Cupcake now faces Boog from 4-6 Racing. Lately, Cupcake has been running through the competition, but will their performance be enough to intimidate number 2 contender on the Alpha list, Boog? This Plymouth Grand Fury and 1955 Ford Ranch wagon have all eyes on them, in anticipation of seeing who will move on in the tournament, and if the second most prestigious spot on the Alpha list will have a new name tied to it. A crossover near the end of the track was almost possible, but just like DC and Marvel, it was not destined to happen, and the 2 competitors finish in yet another close race. Boog is the winner of this matchup and continues to show why they deserve that number 2 spot. They were able to shake up Cupcake and still recover in order to roll in for a victory. This matchup did not disappoint. Now, it's Daddy G from G4 Diecast Racing facing off against Jimmy John Hansen from Silverback Racing. Both vehicles already having warmed up in their earlier races will now compete on our Dragway. Who's your favorite? The 1967 Pontiac GTO or the Acura NSX GT3? Make some noise for your vehicle and show them your support. Oh! I felt that one all the way up here in the booth. A powerful and painful collision from Daddy G while Jimmy John Hansen gets by with minor cuts and scrapes. The roles were definitely reversed as Jimmy John Hansen redeems themselves after a loss, and on the flip side, a wall collision onto Daddy G ends today's day of racing for them. Hey you, yes you, it is main event time at Silverback Racing Dragway, and no, your eyes do not deceive you. Unless you have a blindfold on, of course. This race features number 2 contender on the Alpha list, Boog from 4-6 Racing, versus number 1 contender, Grey Wizard from Golden Owl Racing, for yet another high-velocity battle. I have no idea what to expect, so I guess I will let the 1955 Ford Ranch wagon and the Datsun 620 do what they do best. Hardly an unfamiliar scene barreling down the track for these two vehicles, even after the bump and incline. The only way Grey Wizard will ever give up their title is if they flew completely off the track. Until that happens, we declare today's winner, and still the number 1 alpha, Grey Wizard. Congratulations to all of those at Golden Owl Racing. The leaderboard has seen quite a change up after today's tournament. How much of it will stay the same? Stay tuned. This has been Real Rider. Good night.
It's super intense and insanely dramatic. The performances are downright acrobatic. You're hammering hard. We'll beat in your chest as we race tiny cars and find out who's the best. Silverback Racing TV.
If you enjoyed today's exciting races, feel free to leave us a like and subscribe to support the channel.